I'm hoping that we're live, but I'm just going to assume that we are. So today, what I'm going to uh, be working on is the attack skill tree. Now, the other day, I believe it was Thursday, I streamed a little bit on the topic, but I was very tired and I just couldn't get my thoughts collected. So in the meantime, I've been doing some work on the game. So you can see up in the top right corner where I have the game visible. There's a bunch of black blobs. These are the cows. I just have their hitboxes visible, and that's one of the debug things I've added. You can also see that there's these one by one hitboxes up here that just tell you there's an object there. But you may be thinking, Jono, why is there a tree in the middle of the road? Well, that's because I'm lazy, and I wanted to put this right next to where I spawn, just so I can test things. But if you go over here and you click on this tree, then you can see that this is the attack skill tree. I haven't done the actual artwork for the attack skill tree. I'm planning to have a tree that resembles attack items and then also grows as your tree, as you get more levels and expand your skills. Um, so that's the plan, but for right now, just playing off the fact that it's an actual tree, I just took one of the pictures of the trees and I plopped it down there so that I would be able to interact with it as necessary. So I don't have any levels right now. I actually have level 3 in attack, and that's how this one's unlocked. But you can see that because this one's unlocked, the next part of that skill tree is available. This is a very minimalistic menu. I'm planning to make this a little bit better in the sense that I'm going to add individual pictures for each skill, and also possibly have lines in between the ones that are on the same track. So that should be interesting, but we'll see where that goes. I'm not exactly sure how I want to do the lines because I usually draw everything in paint. And the way that I would have to make the lines is I'd have to make them dynamic in a sense where they could go from one to another no matter what. Right now, you can only move across one to another, but I am realizing that, say that I had something that was like up at a diagonal, and that was the next thing that you could move to, because the middle is going to expand and the sides have to expand. So unless I take steps that are jagged, you won't be able to traverse that landscape um, easily without unless it's that jagged step where there's 90-degree turns one by one at each section to get that 45-degree gradient. But I don't know. I don't think it's going to be too important right at the start. The menu works the way that it's supposed to. So what I'm gonna show you how it works so that you guys can see. I have it set so that all of my levels are actually at. Ooh, that's loud. All of my levels are actually set at 1, so you can see the different levels. But what the reason for that is, one, it makes it so my luck is up, but it also makes it so that my attack is visible and I can see it going up. You may notice also that it seems like I'm attacking a lot slower. That is something that I've added, so I've actually nerfed a lot of the attack stats with the idea that you can choose which ones get better over time. So what we're going to do is, you can see the speed. I mean, obviously I'm hitting ones, so that's pretty obvious. But now I have an attack stat of 2, so I should be able to hit 2s. There you go. So you get 2s and you get 1s. And because my luck is a 1, that's actually why I'm always hitting at least 1. That's how the luck stat plays in. But there's two big things in there's 3 things that are coming into play with the attack skill tree. There's the damage that I do, there's the speed at which I do that damage, and there's the reach that I have. Now, to be honest, I think the reach is kind of going to be like just a bad way to go about it at the start. But the idea is that the reach skill tree is how you'll get to range weapons. So I think that they'll be somewhat more overpowered in a lot of scenarios, because you won't be up and close taking damage from things if you're using ranged weapons. Um, but I'm not entirely certain how that's going to play out. I'm trying to make the reach skill to be a little bit better. So you can see there's the reach skill here. And so that's what I was testing out earlier. But the problem is, for some reason, I can't figure out why the way that I have it working right now. I'll show you guys the code in a second, but I want to select the faster one. So then you can see there's a secondary one that unlocks when you do that, but you have to unlock it with levels. So it's 3 levels for the first section, and then the next ones are going to be 2 levels. I'm trying to make it so, like, eventually, since levels are going to be hard to achieve, you can get them a lot, but also I don't know how many. So you can see I'm attacking a little bit faster. I don't know how many I'm actually gonna have for each skill tree, at least at the start. I want to have a lot of room for expansion. Now, it seems to me like that attacking speed isn't really too significant. I might make it double. I want to see what happens if I just make it double. So I have to go up here to where it is in the animation. So this is actually where it comes into play. It's taking the skill tree menu, and it's checking if the right spot is in the unlocked scenario. There's two special spots. So either this is a 0, which means it's not visible on the skill tree. There's a 1, which means that it's visible but you haven't unlocked it yet, and there's a 2, which means you've unlocked it. So the 1 scenario means that all of the what does it mean? It means that all of the requirements have been completed, other than the fact that you haven't bought it yet. So that's one thing that I'm kind of running as a theme for Easteria, is that I don't want to tell you what's available. It's something where, like, there's going to be so many options that I want the options to just kind of, like, randomly present themselves to you, which is the same reason that I have, so that, like, you don't see what skills are available until you reach level 1 in that skill, because you'll just be doing something that you do naturally, and then that skill pops up. Like in the case of agility, if you swim around long enough, then you get 1 agility level. Attack is a little bit different, because it'll be pretty obvious that you can attack things, but things like luck, things like charisma, those things, like, you won't really necessarily know that they're there, assuming that you haven't watched me play through or watch somebody else play through, but you'll be able to just kind of go about your normal gameplay, and then eventually realize that there is a skill for that, with the pop-up that comes up when you reach level 1. So that's the goal. I'm wondering, do I actually have anybody watching? I don't think so. It says 1 viewer, but that might be me. So if there is 1 viewer, please feel free to say hi in the chat. I have that up on the side. But yeah, so right now I have it go to 3/4 speed. I kind of want to make this more significant just to see what'll happen. And then I also need to go through and make all the secondary levels available. I should probably make that less loud, but you know, live and learn. So I haven't really figured out. I think in the low levels, it actually levels faster if you don't have a weapon in your hand. Eventually, it will level faster to have a weapon, because there's 2 factors to how you level. There's just the base stat of there's the base XP that you get from hitting something, and then there's the XP that you get for the amount that you're hitting. Um, so when you get to something that has larger health, then you probably want to be using a better weapon in order to hit higher values. But when it comes to in low level situations, um, you can't hit that high. You can't hit high of a number. So every hit is actually worth more if it's a smaller damage. So it's something that like you're not going to have a very good weapon right at the start. So I think that makes sense. We should just get one more. There we go. So I have level 3, and you saw how fast I was attacking. I'm hoping, the way that I've set it up, that the animation will also follow suit, but we'll see. So I have this unlocked. If I escape, then I should be able to go attack a cow again, and we'll see how fast I can attack. Kind of want to be able to see the animation. Alright, that's not attacking. It does seem faster. It doesn't seem like the animation's faster, but maybe I'm just imagining that. I'm kind of thinking I should go about this the other way, where I just make the initial no, I did make that slower. Huh. So that should make it take 2 seconds to actually hit something. Is that 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi? One Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. So the animation is running at that speed, but the... how is this working? So it's the amount of frames. That's how that works, but I don't think speed comes into play. So in this case, it's the length of the amount of images being divided out of the attack timer. And the total attack timer is 2 seconds. So it should take 2 seconds to complete the entire action. Right? So then if you decrease the top by half, then it should take half the time to go through the animation. Yeah. Alright. Well, let's start that up and see how slow it is. Because it had that speed factor in, and I think the speed stays at like 6 or something. Can I keep attacking while that's happening? Because that is ungodly slow. I can't even see the numbers. I'm trying to get... No, I can't. So that is playing into the fact that I should probably lower this back down to be 1 second. That's still going to be super slow because it was actually like 12 times slower than it was initially. It's actually enough time for the numbers to go away. It's pretty funny. Um, that's not bad. I think I like that. I'm trying to make it slow enough that it's like obvious that the speed increase is significant. But also it's the first level, so I mean it should just be a little bit faster. But if I'm doing any more testing on this, I'm probably gonna take the hitbox marker off just so I can see what I'm doing. But the goal, one thing that I did actually change yesterday, um, whenever you were attacking something, it was actually checking to see if you were hitting it based off of where your feet are. Um, and I think just gameplay wise, it makes sense to make it off of where your hand is. Even though it's kind of like this weird flattened 3/4 viewpoint for the animated characters, um, it just seemed kind of better to me. There we go, we got level 3. It seems better to me to make it so that like you can just know where you need to hit them with. So let's see if there's any visible change. I can't even tell. Like I gotta make this like significant so that this I can tell it. I just like I'll set it back. As long as I just know that it's working. Um, There's level 2. Don't run away from me. With these black boxes here, it kind of makes it ambiguous what's happening. Oh, another thing I want to do, I want to add another fish. I have another idea. Well, I mean, I've had an idea for it for a while, but um, just another fish that will be down by the fishing village. Not a freshwater fish. Well, I do have one for a freshwater fish as well, but I had I had a confusing scenario because I actually all of the fish can like eat each other. I don't know if I have a scenario for if it's like a vegetarian fish. Um, so I was wondering because I wanted to add like carp or something, but like I don't think carp eat each other. They eat plants. So I was trying to figure out how I could make it so that they would grow, because the whole thing with the other fish is that they will they eat each other, and that's how you get the bigger fish. Like you can get the bigger fish to just randomly spawn, but the best way to get it is to just wait. Um, if you wait in that area and there's enough fish spawning, then you're a lot more likely to. That is no different. at all. I don't like. Huh. It's not going through the speed any different, and I don't understand why, because this is a smaller number. Like this self attack number is literally a tenth the total speed the length that it was before. So what's going on? I have this scenario where it doesn't do this, but I should have fixed that. I don't know what's going on. Um, hmm. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Like me dividing that by 2 increases the speed at which it's doing it, and it also makes it go twice, which that's a problem. But like, is there another place that this is happening? It's cycling through the images because that's the image counter, and it's counting up to the total amount of images in the array. I think that has something to do with the use timer up here. Um, because that is if it doesn't stop being used until um, it doesn't stop being used until the use timer is done, and the use timer changes like that. So I'd have to divide that by 2 and divide this by 2, and that should work out. So then you can see that that's faster than if I don't have it. Yeah. So, the use timer works. The problem is that I was using both. I was using the use timer for both attack mode and use mode, and when I do that, if you switched in the middle of an action, then it would get confusing because it's like, did you attack or did you not? So it would like finish out the animation of the other one based off of whatever image count it was on, um, which that kind of makes things confusing. Um, but yeah, so alright, this stuff makes sense because if it's in the use mode, then it doesn't care about sprint. Sprint's fine, but where is speed used? Dot speed. So that's where it changes position in the animation. I don't see why that's important. If I removed that, what would happen? Because, like, it's. That's the rate at which it will go through the animation, but if it just matters when the. If it just matters when the use timer's done to decide if you've stopped using it. I'm just trying to put everything in the same place so that. It's just really difficult to make this dynamic. um, There's also this problem where you can like switch back and forth between attack mode and use mode, and it will allow you to attack faster even though you have a slow attack speed. But I'm hoping that whatever my fix is for this will kind of just fix that in the process, but we'll see. So right now, when you switch to attack mode, it sets the use timer to 0. That's fine. I don't want it to set the attack timer to 0, because if it sets the attack timer to 0, then that continues the problem that I was just talking about. But if you switch, it should restart the animation, and it sets use equal to 0. So it sets use equal to 0. And if use is 0, that's the scenario, and the attack timer equals 1. Right, so right now, the way it's set up is it checks, sets it equal to 0, and then if use is equal to 1, but use should be equal to 0 in this case, so this won't happen on the first pass. So attack timer 1 should be at 0 when it first hits this scenario, because it won't be adding anything because I took it out of here. So attack timer is equal to 0, use is equal to 0. So that should be good. So if it gets in, Alright, this is the way I want it to work. So I want it to only enter the scenario where it's doing anything if this is the case, because I only want you to be able to use the item or attack every time that the timer hits 0. So I don't know what this is going to do. I might still have some syntax errors up top, but we'll see. So I literally can't right now. I can't attack, which, I mean, that's a change. So I'm gonna, oh, yeah, I gotta take it out of here, because then it would never be 0. So real slow. Real slow. Okay. So I need to make that a little bit more bearable. Ah. No. Yeah, I don't know. Divided by 6. Alright. I'm gonna make it a little less bearable. just so I can make sure that this is significant when this happens. Okay, that's pretty slow. It does seem like I'm hitting every time the animation plays. Oh, and you can see that a fish just ate another fish down in the pond down there. Yeah, that one's nice because it's pretty much a guaranteed 2 fish in a close proximity. So unless they first pop up as the exact same size, you're likely to get a pretty big fish in that pond eventually. Um, just because one will get bigger, and then it's still more likely to have the smaller fish. So then when the smaller fish pops up, then you get that one eaten, and it just keeps eating and gets more likely to eat the next one. So like I said, if like the same size fish both pop up, then it gets stuck, but you could like spook them, and it's basically a big fish farm, but you'll only get bass, so I mean there's your problem. How close am I? A couple more. There we go. Level 3. So now, if I go get this, because now just changing that changes the speed. So if I get this, and I come out of here, that doesn't look any faster. I don't understand. I don't understand. Is this even happening? Like is this going? I'm just gonna get this to like 8 so I can attack really fast. Alright, so I'm looking in the debug window to see if a 0 pops up when I select this. It does not. It's not going into that scenario. So for some reason, this isn't happening, and I don't know why. Oh. Hold on. I'm not going to give up on it yet. Let me go out here. Where's my debug window? I could probably make this easier by just giving everything level 3. Yeah, screw it, I'll go do that. And class. It's just more things that I have to clean up later. Okay, now it's not doing either of them. What? What is going on? Okay, animation. Okay, so that's showing that if I go up, if I buy it, oh, what? What? Okay. What error is happening here then? Because it's checking to see if there's an index error and then ignoring the index error. But obviously it's not an index error because neither of those cases are happening. So that's the index error. But then if I go up here and I do that, escape, then what's the error? I don't get it. There's no error. What is the problem? Is this not the right one? Is this... Oh, God. Oh, God. Was that the problem? Let's see. Trying to get my debug window back up. I don't know why I moved it, but that's not what I want, but this should be the speed. Did I change the wrong thing up there when I added it? There we go. Oh, that's fast. Oh, that's fast. There we go. That was the whole problem. Oh my god. Okay. So, bring these back. Get that up there. Get that back. Okay, so we don't need our prints. We don't need our prints. And we don't need our prints. Okay. So the whole problem was that when I came up here, to fix this when I had it initially as a problem. I had this as a 1, and this is a 0. This was supposed to be a 0, and this was supposed to be a 2. But I changed the 0 to the 2, and that didn't fix my problem. Okay. No. I just got a bunch of Instagram messages from a porn account. Don't want those at all. Okay, so like I said, I had this in the I fixed the wrong index, and now it's fine, which explains why it's been driving me crazy. So this should, let's drop that back down to 4. Let's drop that to 5, and then let's see how that works. So now I have the try back in place, so I should be able to do that. That's slow, and then if I go up here, if I buy it, and I come back down here, it's faster. Thank God. Okay, so that's one problem solved. That was way too much effort, but you know. So I'm thinking that what I'm gonna do is if sktr1.const, which one is it? It's gonna be number 6, so 5 is equal to 2. Then so instead of putting these on top of each other, I'm just going to switch it from (75) to 5. So when you have the second one, that's when you're gonna get half speed or double speed. But when you have the first one, it's just it's 4/3 speed. So, and then it starts out where it takes 1/4 of a second to hit something. Do I want to make that? I might make that like a little bit slower. How slow is that? But I can try this out. That's pretty slow. Yeah, no, I think just to get the animation to be smooth, I'm gonna make it it's still choppy, but then if you go get this, then ooh, yeah, that causes a problem. I think I need to do what I've done for both of these. So, I think I need to do what I've done for both of these. For the attack for the U's as well, because so the U's right now set the U's to equal to 0 and the timer equal to 0, and so these are the same. The problem is that so these are the same right here. The problem is that when it comes down here, um, it's setting use timer and attack mode equal to 0. So I think that I should do that. Why does that do? God. So, the thing that decides whether an attack is done is this right here. So I think the problem... No, so use should be equal to 0 when you switch. Image count should be equal to 0. And then... if you're... what's different from when you're entering attack mode and when you're exiting attack mode? So I'm just gonna play around with it a bit more. So right now, if you use something, that's fine. If you attack, that's fine. You can do that as many times as you want. If you switch back to attack and use mode, that's fine. If you switch back to attack mode, that's fine. It's only when you're in the middle of something. It's specifically when you're in the middle of attacking that it doesn't work. So what's specific about attacking that's stopping me from doing this? Is there anything that's equal to? So my thought is, let's see, if you're in the middle of attacking, attack timer has not yet reached this. I have it in two places where attack timer set equal to 0. But I think that's fine. Because I think... Actually, no. No. I'm going to remove it from down here. I think that should still work. In the normal way, not necessarily fixing our problem. Nope. That ruined something. Why did that ruin something? Alright, you know what? I think this needs a attack timer too. So, I was using attack timer 1 for two different things. I think that's causing problems. Where's attack timer? It's attack timer. Scoop-a-doop-boop-boop. Floop-a-doop-boop scoop. So what does that do? Might not have cleaned everything back up. But alright, well it doesn't finish. Oh my god. It doesn't finish the animation. So that's great. So why is that happening? It's a great stream, isn't it? I should probably eat lunch. I'm streaming for an hour. I never put the last stream up on YouTube. I should download that and put it up because it'll disappear in like 7 days or something. It's just stupid, but that's how Twitch works. You know what? Just print the whole thing. That sounds good. So, every 15 frames, it's going to take 15 frames to do it. That one's counting up to 15. I don't know why this needs to be an integer. It's just comparing it. But I don't think that'll change anything. So the problem I'm seeing is that it's not finishing the cycle every time. There's 8 frames, and it's trying to do that in 15 frames. Something weird's going on. Well, there's one problem solved. Oh god. So if I make this 4, I don't think that was right over here either. Shouldn't this be 0? I don't know. You know what? I'm just not gonna touch that one. I don't know why it works that way, but you know, it's fine. I think that's a bug that I had from the past. Yeah, it is. Okay, this speed thing that I have here is completely unimportant. Um, Specifically for using things, it's important for the movement, for like running around. But um, that's where it's important. Great. Okay, well, just want to make sure that the running is fine. So if I crank this up to 0, then how fast does that run? I can fix it that way. I should really make the sprint speed faster. What does that do? We're just changing everything today. I just want to make sure I can't like run through a wall or something when I'm sprinting. But I think I've made it work. If I make this like 6, can I get through this wall? Nope. No, but I don't want it to be 6. I want it to be 5. I should really add some more frames to this animation. That might make it more bearable to have it slightly slower, but we'll keep it at 4. Now I can't even bear it when it's not that fast. Did I fix this problem? I can't even remember now. It's not making it through all the way. How many frames are this? Use. Where's attack? Stab. There's seven frames. So why is it only going to frame 2 and then stopping? What? Okay. I don't get that. Yeah, that brings it out of. Oh god. Self dot orient. All right. What did I just do? Oh no, that's just how fast it runs now. I think I'm just actually, well, for one, I'm just actually having problems with the frame rate. I wonder if I can bump this up to 120. I don't think that'll change much, but you know. Whee. So if I switch into attack mode, what does that do? It's still not getting all the way through the animation. It does look a lot cleaner at 120. How far can I bring this? 300 frames a second? Nah, that doesn't. That doesn't do much. Why does that slow it down? I don't get that. There's your wall clipping. Ooh. Three. I don't think I can get through the wall at 6. But let's find out. Ooh, I can get through the door. Alright, we'll bring it to 120. Ooh. Piping just crash? Oh, that's weird. Yeah, that crashed because I left the area. But if I make this 5, can I still get through the door? I mean, I can go fix the door. That's not a problem, but. Do I move faster in the upwards and downwards direction? What the heck? Class wall. super fast inside. Oh my god, I'm so fast. So what I should do is I should completely zone it out. Ooh, whole app just crashed. Alright, what I'm doing is I'm making it so that if you're in a building, it runs faster. Well, it runs at a reasonable speed. It might be behind my face on the screen. Speed equals 2 F5, enter. Alright, and then you get inside the building. You see, it's not. Just make it so you can't sprint as fast, I guess, inside buildings. But what changed? I don't understand, because I was just going crazy in. Oh, that's one. Ooh, that's so slow. This is at 60. What does that do? So we're gonna go for 120 frames a second, and then one 20 divided by 5 is 20. I don't know. That's probably not a good number. Oh, it is going through all of them. I'm just an idiot. So that third, well, you can't see it. I have 3 counters right now. I have one's not a counter, one's just keeping track of something. So if you use it, then it goes through, it counts to 20 now. It's 20 frames. So that's a fifth of a second to attack. So I should lower that because that's too fast. No, it's a sixth of a second, I guess. I don't. What? Okay. I don't. Oh no, that's right. That's right. So I'm setting it to 4. That'll make it so that 30 is how long it attacks for. You know what I should do? I got an idea. What we're gonna do is no matter what this is, oh no. No matter what the attack one is, we're gonna subtract 1 from it. And the reason for that is that everything isn't necessarily a multiple of the amount of frames that it has. So I want it to be able to get through the whole animation and then just kind of wait it out. So in this case, that's fine. But if it's so like, it's probably my fault, but it's so kind of random how fast it's running. That's still, it's weird. It's weird. Let me see. And then there's that problem. Guess that's what I get for having a prime number of frames. Ooh, That's what it should do. This will make it run smoother, but I don't know if it'll make it run better. But what I can do is this. If so, basically what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna subtract this mod this, so that it's the closest multiple of so for that it's fine, because 4, well, 5 goes into 30. Yeah. And when I do it here, what is happening with that? It got to 21 and it stopped. This isn't even the thing I wanted to debug today. I don't understand. Okay, so that works. Now that's one thing I should do. I should make this also here. So when this happens, self.attack timer 2 also should equal 0. So the reason for that, right, so then that happens, we all know that 30 can be divided by 5 easily, so that's not a problem. What it's going to do it's always going to start at 0. So even though it doesn't perfectly match up, it'll start over from the beginning. So then I shouldn't need this hullabaloo. So the last frame might get cut off a little bit. I'm gonna get 2 levels and just see what happens when I go up and grab the next one. Okay, we got 5. So it goes to 22.5. Unlocked. Stab really fast. Got it. 15. Oh yeah, that's a lot faster. Not to mention I can hit 5s, so that's an improvement. Yeah, so then I just need to fix this bowl. So, I think the problem is that I have elif self use equals 1. So we're gonna grab this, but I don't know if I'm gonna use it the same way. Huh. By the way, I was able to actually put out an ad for my game. I was pretty happy about that because it didn't cost me anything. Facebook just kind of put out a little button that was just like, use this coupon for $30 worth of ad space. And I was like, all right, that's free advertisement. So I put one out, and it's been running for about 36 hours, I think. But it's been I'd consider it a success just because I'm not paying for it. Um, it hasn't done too much for me, but I did have my first sale to someone that I don't know, and then I also had a few. I've had 34 people click on the link, and that means that I've had some decent extra traffic from across the country to my site. So I mean, if I had money to blow on it, I'd do it more often. But because I think there is something to actually having it pop up more than once for people. If that can happen, then people tend to be a lot more likely to go with things. But what am I doing here? Well, I'm gonna say screw that. Take the speed out. Frames. But we're gonna have to divide this by like 4 or something to make this reasonable. So the problem with that is it goes 4 times. Yeah. So then we'd have to divide this by 4. Yeah. I'm probably going to divide it by like 2 or something. Yeah, that's about the speed that we had it before. I do like being able to run fast. That's nice. I so the way I fix this is I just made the walls thicker. I mean, it doesn't look bad. Did that screw up anything up here? Whoa. That's a problem. So my circle doors. There's like a pixel that it works on. Class circ. Find circle door. So in the door check. It's getting through the door. Huh. So I made it so that the visual is 7. For here, seems like I didn't update it. Alright. See, I can still run through that. But, I mean, I can't do it all the time, so that's one thing. But that theoretically should have fixed it. We'll figure out if it's a problem. The big thing is, like, you don't get stuck in the circle unless you keep running. And there you go. So, I don't know. I, I'm assuming that it worked. Um, it's been a lot of bug testing today, so it's been a little less exciting than yesterday was, where I was just making the skill tree. But I'm probably not going to stream too much longer. I might work on this more today later, just off stream, just because it's a little easier to do stuff, especially on the back end. It's nice to be on the stream for the art, because that gives me something to talk about. But for the coding, there's sometimes that I just want to like crack down on it and oh god, and just get to the bottom of everything without having to talk myself through it. So, but where are we at with this whole process? Is everything fixed? Use is fine. Attack is fine. Running is fine. Running in buildings is fine. Except it's really fast right now. I think it's just because my computer is running really fast. I'm gonna put this at 3.2, and if it runs slow, that just means your computer sucks. That's what I'm saying. I just realized that the reason that I keep getting the rope is because I set the lock to 3. That's pretty funny. Alright, so the big one is the reach. That's why I wanted to even work on the stream, but you know, I think we've made the game better in the process, so that's nice to know. Oh, let me go. So, the whole thing with the reach is that it should make you able to attack them from further away. But the way that it works is like it's just checking to see if the position is even in the hitbox. So how does the hitbox visualize? Because the hitboxes are fine. I can, if my hand is in the hitbox and I swing, then it hits them. So that's fine. But I guess the reach should be how far away from the hitbox you can be. But HP viz class obst. So HP viz, what it does is it just looks at the current position, then it makes a rectangle if that works, then you know that's fine. death damage. What is this in? Just so I keep track of everything. This is in room, as I assumed it would go to. Which should mean the cows aren't in the room, but you know. Alright, I'll go to area. So this whole block of hullabaloo is the problematic part. So what it's doing is it's looking at the hitbox, and I kind of have to remember how the hitboxes work. What it's basically looking at, so this is the hitbox that it's setting up, and it's looking at if the position is inside the hitbox. I don't think that's the right way to do it. So what it should do So what I'm assuming HP 0 is going to be the top left corner. HP 1 HP 01 is going to be the top right corner. So the position pops up, and so the position is where it is on the screen. And then it's checking where that is in comparison to the middle of the screen with some compensation for the Y direction. So that's what it is. So that's not actually the hand, but you know, it's pretty close. And so then the reach is going to be so if you're looking in this direction, So these guys over here, I don't know if the absolute values are the right way to do this, because that's specific to the point. So the way it's setting up the HB array is it takes the X position and it adds okay. This just centers it so that the origin is at. This is a position of the thing with respect to the origin, where the origin is basically your character's waist. Um, and so then this is setting the top left corner of no. So this is the X position of the left side. This is the X position of the right side of the box. This is the X position of the top side, and this is the X position of the bottom side. That's what I'm assuming. I'm not completely certain on that, but that's what I'm assuming. So, if the origin is within the X position, then this is going to be true. So if it's in the two spots. Alright, I'm going to copy this. I'm going to paste it. And then we're going to save one of them. And we're going to just start messing around with the other one. So with the other one, I'm thinking that So the way I'm seeing this, we have a box, right? Maybe I should draw this out. So, just get a big one. So right now, there's this box, right? So, you got x1, x2. That is an awful 2. That is terrible. And then you got y1, y2. That's just awful. So x1, if we're just looking at the x's, if you are looking this way, that's a camera, then you should be able to hit this if you are within reach R. That's an R. So if you are within reach R and you're within y and y1 and y2 as boundaries, then you should be able to hit it. And the inverse happens if you're up here. If you're on the other direction, so what it should be asking is this. So it has a relative position. So this is 0, right? And x2 is equal to some number, or we're going to say a. And x2 is equal to b. I might have said x2 over here, but I was talking about x1. So we want a to be less than or equal to r. and we want b to be greater than 0. That's all we need. That's it. And then it has to be within the y parameters. So what we need to do is y1 needs to be positive. Actually, in this case, negative 1. Y2 needs to be positive. You probably can't even see this. Oh, you can. Okay. Okay. That's good. Yeah, so those are the scenarios that we need. Y1 needs to be negative. Y2 needs to be positive. A needs to be less than or equal to R. And B, we'll even say greater than or equal to 0. So what that means is you actually have a slightly larger box from which you can hit in that direction. And that is where your reach comes into play. So that's what we need. Okay, so if I go back to this, you know what? I'm just gonna delete all of it. Yeah. So orient 0 is going to be when x is going up. I think that's to the right, but I'm just going to go check to make sure. So class main find close. These are different things. If you're moving to the right, that's D, then orient equals 0. So then control H, def, damage, find, close. So if you're moving to the right, that's the scenario that we have. So if orient equals 0 and so these are our 4 scenarios. So we need HB one 0 less than or equal to 0, and HB 0 1 1 is greater than or equal to 0, and HB, we're going to leave the reach one for last. 1 1 is greater than or equal to 0, and HB 1 0 is less than or equal to reach. Or, so now we're just going to grab this and I'm going to make sure that I do it correctly. So for orient 1, that means we're going to the left. The Y stuff is still going to be the same. The X stuff is going to switch. So that should be good. So for this one, we're going to switch. So this is up. So if we're looking up, well, for 1, these need to be X's. And then ooh, that's an important one. So I need to switch these. Because, so that's why this comes into play. So it's fine up here, but because you're looking in the opposite direction, it's important to have the opposite orientation here. And 0, 0, these need to be zeros. Oh god. Okay. I think that'll work. So let me see if this screws anything up. Invalid syntax. What's invalid? Oh. I think it worked. Because my hand is outside the cow, the hitbox, except it's running away. Yeah, it worked. So that wasn't working anyway, so I'm just going to get rid of it. It's still in the room one, but I'll change that in a second. What I want to do, let me go, because I made it crazy if you buy this, just so I could try and see it, because like nothing was happening. So I should be able to hit this cow from like really far away. I can't remember. Yeah. Alright. That's honestly like just stupid enough to kind of make it worth it. But it did help to actually write that out. That changed a lot. So I'm thinking that this might be debating if I want to keep it that far. Um, Death attack. Because right now the reach increases, so I don't have this is gonna be 3. And then so it raises the reach from 5 to 25, which is like stupid. Um, that's it should be starting at 0. Go to 10. So you have to be like in the cow to start off. Oh, no, no, I want the other way. 25. And then this is gonna be, ooh, this one needs to be 3. This one needs to be 4. So if I go get that, get long arms, I still think it's kind of a rip-off, but yeah, you can stand a little bit further away. But like the idea is that the initial thing isn't going to be worth it, but then when you get around to it, it's important because you can do like the plan is not to have like necessarily archery weapons. There might be some, but oh dang, I just hit that. Is that screwing anything up? Sorry if that killed anybody's eardrums. The plan is not to have necessarily archery weapons. I might add some, but the idea is that you can just throw anything in the same sense that you can use anything as a weapon. So if you had a stack of something in your inventory, then you could throw it. The problem is you'll run out of that eventually, but like with this ungodly amount of meat on the ground, I'm like, it'd be nice if you could just pick it up and chuck it, but hmm. Oh god. All right. Well, I think I'm going to stop the stream. So I'll probably work on this a little bit more today, but like I said, there's some things that are easier to do off stream. So thanks for watching if you have, and I will be streaming in the future. So see you then.